Rob.
Hi.
I'm Holly, and I'm going to be working with you today. I am one of the counselors here. I am one of the clinical social workers.
Yep.
And obviously, you're here at River Works. So,
Okay.
we're just gonna, talk about some things and see if we can help you out. You're obviously here for a reason.
Yes.
Okay? So there's a few housekeeping things that I have to tell you about and do before we can get started with our session. In order for me to be seeing you, you have to do informed consent. And
What's that?
so basically, it's the ability for me to treat you and have you okay with me treating you is the generalization of that. So there's a couple things you need to know about the sorts of treatment that we'll be providing. Like I said, I'm a social worker. I don't have counseling specialties in substance abuse, so I won't be able to help you with that. I will be able to help you with basic mental health stuff, and if we need to do some things with other resources, I can find some people to help you out with those other things. And I am a mandated reporter, which means if you report to me that you are going to harm yourself, harm someone else, or that there's potential for that, I am mandated to report it to DHHS. If you choose not to tell me and you don't want to tell me about it, and you have a situation, I can refer you to people who are not mandated reporters, and they can help you process some of that. All of our sessions are confidential, excluding the mandated reporting piece.
Right.
So, no one will know that you're even a patient here, or one of our clients. There's no concerns with that. And for billing purposes, I bill by the month, and I will, calculate how many sessions, how much time we put in. So that way, if we need to, if you decide you only want to come twice a month, then, we do it at the end of the month after you've had your sessions. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. And in terms of insurance, we do take Medicare.
Yep.
So if you've got that, then you're probably good to go.
Alright.
Okay. So let's get started. Can you tell me a little bit why you think you're here today?
So I am here because I have PTSD, and it has really affected my life, and to the point I can't even drive a vehicle.
Okay.
And I can't even get into a car. It's so bad. So.
Okay. So can you tell me how you got here today?
So I actually walked here, and I had about almost walk over 5 or 6 miles. I live right in the city, so.
Okay. So, bit of distance. So when you say PTSD, is that a diagnosis that someone else has given you before?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the current diagnosis they had given me at my last place.
Okay, so would you be willing to sign a release form for me to get those records from your prior place? Okay, so we'll do that at the end or after our session's over. So when you think of PTSD and how it affects you and why it affects you, can you tell me a little bit about when this started? How do you think it happened?
Well, about 5 years ago, I was in a vehicle with my wife, and we're driving along, and it was at night, and we ended up getting T-boned, and I lost her. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, and I was in the hospital for a long time myself because it was a big semi truck.
Yep.
So.
Okay. What sorts of injuries did you have?
A lot of spinal and like fractures that I needed to be in the hospital, and I had to learn how to really be able to get around.
Okay. And have any of those medical conditions still impact your ability to move and...
Yeah, like I'm not able to really be flexible or bend over as much.
Okay.
So it's just a lot of and I have to walk slowly because I just can't run as fast as I used to.
Okay. Did you have any brain injuries?
A concussion, but that was really it.
Okay.
I was on the side that was not hit by the tractor trailer.
Okay. That makes sense. And have you been in a vehicle since this accident?
No.
Have you tried?
I've tried to be in one, but every time I go to open the door or even like sit in the vehicle itself, I get flashbacks of that night. Sometimes whenever I see, like, if I'm walking at night or something and I see headlights or something, and that really freaks me out too, and I have to, like, I just start having like a panic attack. And
what is a panic attack?
Hyperventilating, kind of like just out of breath, can't like take in any air and feeling like I'm submerged.
Okay. So I see a couple of things that we can work on, and some goals that we'll need to set in order for you to be successful. The good news for you is with PTSD and exposure therapy, and a lot of the things is, the brain, the mind is very resilient. And being able to learn how to cope is something that will help you to be able to get in that car and think about those things and not feel as, bothered by it. So if we think about the vehicle piece, we're going to kind of section off the getting in the vehicle and like panic attacks. I think we're going to approach those a little bit differently. So if we work on some goals around the vehicle, I'm not going to ask you to go for a ride or do anything like that yet, but I would, suggest that we do some exposure therapy here. So we could look at some magazines. You could pick out, some of your favorite cars and trucks and things that you find interesting. And then we could go to videos. You could watch some videos of some cars, people in cars. And then we could go right out into the parking lot and we could just stand next to the cars and just work our way up. You can sit in a car. We can start the car and we won't move the car. And then just work our way up until you're moving through the car. And I think, it's interesting and important to note that because of your injuries, you're not as mobile as you used to be, so it's probably really hard for you to get around. And so this is something that, and you'll find a lot of times in this therapy it goes a lot quicker than you'd think it would. So hopefully we'll have you in a pretty good space. But I don't want to overwhelm you, so we'll go slow and we'll go at your pace. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's like our goal number 1, is to be able to get you thinking about vehicles and kind of, figuring out what you feel about them. Like where's the tick? Okay? For what you're describing as panic attacks, we can do some coping skills. We can work on some coping skills. We can also try to identify times when you feel like you're getting them more. You mentioned having flashbacks in the night. It's harder for you. So we can make a list of when we feel it's hard. And we can make an ongoing list of coping skills. That might look like deep breathing. It might look like going for a walk. It might look like listening to music. Any one of those things could be pretty helpful. How are you feeling about that?
I think that's pretty good. Yep.
Okay. You think that would be okay?
Yep.
So, I think another goal is just to make sure, that you continue getting here and be able to come here and getting to your sessions. it's really helpful to have the support. And so I think our third and probably our final goal that we'll talk about today, should really be about building your supports. And that could look like, making sure you come to each of your sessions here, maybe, signing up for a support group for those who've been grieving. I know it's been a while, but if you haven't accessed those resources before, they can be very, very helpful.
I've accessed some of them, and
Okay.
I've been working on that a lot.
Okay, so we can work on that some more, and just get you to feel more comfortable.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, awesome. Well, it was wonderful meeting with you, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Meeting you too.